I said last night that Ben Kotwika's special teams unit has been the most impressive unit out of all three over this 5-game stretch, 4 out of 5 wins. Would you guys agree?
I don't know. It's hard to think of it that way.
I know that's kind of complicated.
It's definitely not the offense, so it comes down to defense or special teams.
Well,
and
the defense has sucked the last 2 games.
Yeah, they've given up a ton of yards, so I guess so. I guess so.
You know, I mean, here's the overall point, right? They still get nothing in the return game, punt return or kick return. So,
right.
I mean, we throw that out the window.
You're talking about kicking and punting.
Kicking and punting, but they have blown so many games over just the last 5 years, whether it was, you know, the Keith Burns guy who was way underqualified, and I like Ben Kotwika, or Ben Kotwika's unit, to the point where, you know, Kotwika had to get rid of Kai Forbath, who was a very accurate field goal kicker, which nobody understood at the time, but it was killing them because he couldn't reach the end zone, and he was missing chippies. Well, yesterday, their kicker, who sucks, misses one definite chippy, one they get a bad snap on a 3rd down on, and it cost them 8-9 yards, and he misses a 47-yarder. And then on top of that, Tress Way, who struggled earlier this year, first 2-3 games, he was like 2nd lowest in gross punting average. I mean, the guy had like the last, I got to double check this, but I think the last 3 weeks, maybe the last 4 weeks, he's averaging about 48.5, 49 per punt, which is ridiculous.
Well, it's just hard and then Hopkins, you know, I was telling the boys earlier, it's not like Hopkins is Vinatieri, but he's 17 for 19, hasn't missed an extra point.
Very solid and reliable.
He's very
solid.
He
doesn't have to be the best. He just has to be good.
Exactly. If you can rely on your guy to make kicks and extra points, I mean, at the end of the day on the scoreboard, that's going to make a difference. You saw it yesterday.
And quite honestly, in the last couple of years, he hasn't been as reliable as he's been this year. Now, I don't want to, knock on wood because everybody can have a bad game. But again, not only is it field goals, like you just said, Jason, it's, also extra points. I mean, think about this.
Extra points are not givens.
No. The Tampa Bay kicker has missed 4 of them this year. Now, again, he stinks, but he still has jobs. Yeah. And he's bounced around from Arizona to the Jets to the Buccaneers, and he still gets jobs. So the point is, you're right, it's not a gimme. And I'll go one step further. Hopkins has made, I think, 4 49-yard field goals this year, which tells you how weird this offense is, that not only can they not punch it in the red zone, but a lot of times they can't even get close. He's made 4 49-yard field goals and a 56-yarder out of his kicks this year. What has he made, 17? So
17,
it's almost 1/3 of his kicks that have been from 49 plus.
Yeah, and those are big because when you miss it, you give the opponent a short field.
Yes.
And going back to it, they don't give teams short fields.
Absolutely. So, I mean, again, the winning formula, we could talk, and I'm sure you guys are going to talk about this all week. I'm sure we're all going to talk about this. It's not where it's going to get exposed is against really good teams, as we've seen against, and I hesitate to call Atlanta a really good team. We saw what Cleveland and Baker Mayfield did with them, but it just shows you it's a week-to-week league. We saw what happens when they don't play well, when they're not ready, when they don't execute at anywhere close to a high level. Last week, we saw what happened against New Orleans. Could we see that again this Sunday against Houston with J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless and Jadeveon Clowney, and then all the weapons that they have on offense? Oh, my God, I'm so scared about that game. But, yes, we can see it. But you know what? They at least have a chance if they play well. I think that's the thing that I want to, preach about. I sound like a preacher. If they play well and if they play up to their capabilities and if they don't shoot themselves in the foot like they do far too often, they at least have a chance to win these games.
Yeah, I mean, I said that unless Philly sweeps them, which I don't see because Philly stinks, I think the Skins, unless they have some crazy, real valuable player go down, like a Smith, I think they're going to win this division just based on the schedule. Dallas still has to play at Atlanta this week. They still got to play at Indy. They still play the Saints. And then, I just think that the Redskins are in a really good position right now.
It's crazy. I mean, it's not only a 2-game lead, if you think about it this way, and I know they have to play again on Thanksgiving, but really, what is it, a 2.5-game-ish lead against the Cowboys because you beat them head-to-head.
Right.
Now, again, you have to play them on a short week, and this is what I worry about. So my point yesterday was, look, out of this 3-game stretch, meaning starting yesterday and then the Houston and Cowboy game on Thanksgiving, 3 games in 11 and a half days, which just drives me insane. they had to win at least one of those three. And ideally, if they're going to win the division, I said, before yesterday's game, they have to win 2 out of 3. Well, now they're halfway to that goal. Nobody would expect them to win all 3 of these games. But if somehow, some way, you can, they beat the Buccaneers and now split the next 2, I'm good with that, man. And I think every Redskins fan should be good with that. And, I hope to make Josh Norman happy. The Redskins fans are supportive and cheering and waving their pom-poms this Sunday at FedEx Field.